Survivors captured 10,000 zombies for research 10 years after the end of the world.
10 years, and the dead still have this world.
You really think the world's gonna end?
I know it is.
Hello everyone on Jacobson, and this is a brief recap of the 4th and 5th episodes of the zombie series The Walking Dead: The World Beyond. I can see from your activity that you really like the Walking Dead universe. That's why I don't stop and keep working on the next episodes. As usual with you, 200 likes and 20 comments, and I will post a new episode. Enjoy watching it all. Iris, Hope, Silas, Elton, Felix, and Huck travel through the woods. Felix points out that they're low on supplies and insists they return to the campus colony. The group refuses to turn around. The group speculates about the location of the Civic Republic colony. Felix and Huck privately discuss a plan to convince everyone to turn around. Huck suggests that Felix try to change Elton's mind so that Elton can convince the others. They find an abandoned high school building and decide to shelter in it for the night, as well as find food. In a flashback, students mingle in the high school auditorium. In the present, Iris sits in the abandoned auditorium, browsing the high school's yearbook while Hope, Elton, and Silas collect trophies to capture water from an imminent rainstorm. The group splits up to search for supplies. Felix asks Elton to join him. Hope and Huck wander down a hallway. Hope notices an outline on the wall where a radiation sign once existed. Huck asks Hope why she wanted her and Felix to find them. Hope explains that she initially had doubts about their mission to find her father, but then changed her mind. In a flashback, Hope complains to her father, Dr. Bennett, after he neglects to pick her up from the school principal's office for setting off stink bombs. Drive Bennett says that he wanted Hope to think about the consequences of her actions. Hope remarks that Iris is a better daughter than her. Dr. Bennett assures Hope that he loves her. In the present, Hope and Huck find a radiation sign on the wall similar to others they have seen. They realize that someone has been removing the signs. Felix and Elton find supplies. In a science lab, Felix asks Elton why he wanted to accompany Iris and Hope on their mission. Elton says he wants to help them find Dr. Bennett. In the hallway, they notice a trail of fresh blood and follow it. An empty crawls out of a classroom. Something drags it back inside. Iris and Silas enter a gymnasium that had been decorated for a high school dance. An empty blocks the other exit door. They tried to leave the gymnasium through the door they entered, but it's jammed. Iris tries to radio Felix, but the batteries on her walkie are corroded. Hope asks Huck what her father was like. Huck remarks that some fathers have a funny way of showing they care. In a flashback, Hope tries to dissuade Dr. Bennett from helping the Civic Republic. Dr. Bennett explains that Hope's frustration is not her fault and offers to explain more when he returns from the Civic Republic. In the present, Felix and Elton follow the trail of blood and discover empties trapped in a row of locked lockers. Elton has flashbacks to being trapped in a closet. Felix notices that Elton is panicked and says that Elton is not ready to be out in the world. He asks Elton to help convince the others to turn around. They follow the blood trail to a classroom filled with guts and bones of dead empties. Iris wishes she had allowed herself to have more fun back at the university. Silas remarks that he no longer hears echoes of the gossip that people used to whisper about him. Iris listens to music on Silas' headphones and is surprised to learn that it's old-timey music. Hope and Huck encounter a wolf in the hallway. They seek refuge in a classroom. Hope and Huck guess that the wolf is defending pups. They slowly inch past the growling wolf and escape. Felix and Elton spot Iris and Silas in the gymnasium. Iris says that the door is jammed and that the other exit is blocked by an empty. Felix and Elton go to kill the empty. Hope guesses that Huck is trying to convince her to return to the campus colony. She refuses to go back and explains that she wants to ask her father what he planned to tell her. They then find a pantry stocked with food. As Iris and Silas dance in the gymnasium, they hear an animal snarling inside an air vent and decide to get past the empty on their own. Iris opens the door, allowing the empty to come after her. She races out into the hallway with Silas, and they shut the door behind them, trapping the empty. Empties close in on Iris and Silas. They race through a door and lock it behind them. The empties start to break down the door. As Hope and Huck gather supplies in the pantry, they hear Iris crying for help on the other side of a door. Empties continue tearing through the door. Silas hears the gossiping voices in his head. One voice says that Silas' own mother testified against him. Silas flashes back to punching someone. In the present, he charges at the empties and punches one of them over and over. The rest of the group rushes into the room and kills the empties. Elton tries to stop Silas from punching the empty, but Silas pushed him away. Silas finally stops and apologizes. Hope asks Iris if she's okay. Iris says they should have talked more about what happened the night their mother died. Elton holds an ice pack to the area where Silas hit him. He asks Felix if he has a plan for returning home. Felix says he would need Elton's help. Iris tells Silas that it's time to go. Silas suggests they leave him behind, then asks if she thinks he killed his father. Iris says it doesn't matter and points out that Silas has saved the group twice. As everyone regroups in the auditorium, Elton snaps a photo of the group together. In a post-credit scene, Lila Belshaw is conducting experiments on a zombified Samuel Abbott. The camera pans to show several other recently turned empties tied up and being experimented on in a similar way to Samuel. As she finishes experimenting on Samuel, she asks for the next test subject to be taken to her for experimentation. Iris, Hope, Silas, Elton, Felix, and Huck walk down an abandoned road. Felix nods at Elton, quietly reminding Elton of their plan to bring the group back home. The group sets up camp for the night. Huck warns that crossing the Mississippi River will be tough and that the terrain on the other side will be difficult to navigate. The kids refuse to abandon their mission. Felix shows Elton a route on a map that will bring them back to the campus colony. He explains that he and Huck will share their plan with the group after Elton lays some of the initial groundwork. Elton hesitates, but Felix says the river is their last chance of getting home safely. The group arrives at the banks of the Mississippi River. Felix tells Huck that Elton is on board with their plan. Huck proposes that one of them return home with Elton and Silas while the other continues on to New York with Iris and Hope. Felix insists they can still convince the entire group. The group finds boats on the river bank, but the boats are in disrepair. Iris suggests they salvage boat parts to make their own boat. Elton downplays the idea, but the others are enthusiastic. The group searches a nearby warehouse for boat parts. Iris finds a box of nail polish that is labeled flammable. Elton stares at the body of an empty, triggering a flashback. Young Elton visits his father's office at a natural history museum. Elton's mother, Amelia, invites Elton to feel the baby in her belly. Elton looks at the beads on her bracelet and suggests giving a bracelet to his sister when she's born. Amelia leaves for work. Elton's father, Mr. Ortiz, shows Elton how to clean museum artifacts. An alarm sounds in the distance. In the present day, the group gathers supplies for the boat. Iris suggests they use air conditioner parts to make a steam boiler for the engine. The group starts assembling a boat on the river bank. Felix pulls Huck aside and says he is going to talk to the group about his plan to return home. He asks Huck to join in with Elton. Hope overhears them. Hope confronts Elton and accuses him of betraying the group. Felix reveals his plan to sail back home by boat. Hope argues with Felix. Iris points out that the only way to cross the river is if everyone works together. Hope and Huck look for fuel. Huck admits that she initially wanted to return home, but now believes that their mission will make them stronger. Felix tries to make amends with Hope. Hope accuses Felix of letting Dr. Bennett help the CRM when he had the power to dissuade him. Huck tries to start the boat engine, but the furnace fire is not hot enough. Silas suggests fueling the fire with the flammable nail polish. Lightning strikes in the distance. Iris and Felix scavenge for more fuel. Felix reveals that he was supposed to accompany Dr. Bennett to the CRM, but that he stayed behind when Bennett asked him to look after Hope and Iris. They hear thunder in the distance. Empties stir in a nearby building. At the warehouse, Elton and Silas pour nail polish into buckets. Elton tells Silas that he colluded with Felix because he was afraid. In a flashback, Mr. Ortiz tells Elton to hide in his office while he looks for a safe way home. Screams and chaos can be heard outside. Mr. Ortiz gives Elton an animal horn for protection and puts Elton in a box. In the present, lightning strikes a pole, causing it to topple onto the building with empties. Empties stream out into the field. Iris and Felix flee. Huck and Hope work. On the boat engine, something goes wrong. Elton and Silas race down a road with the nail polish. The storm approaches. Felix and Iris rejoin Huck and Hope at the boat. Iris warns that empties are coming their way. Felix insists on fleeing, but Iris worries that rising water from the storm will wash the boat away. Elton trips and spills a bucket of nail polish. Silas helps him up. Hope, Iris, and Felix race to assemble the boat. Elton and Silas arrive with the nail polish. Iris pours the nail polish into the steam boiler. The engine starts, then stops. The empties appear down the road. Felix strings fishing line across the road to stop them. Iris asks Elton to crawl under the boat and reattach. A loose part. Elton says he's too claustrophobic. Felix strings more fishing line across the road. Iris begs Elton to fix the engine. In a flashback, young Elton huddles in the box. Elton crawls under the boat. In a flashback, young Elton calms himself in the box as empties pound on the office door. In the present, Elton calms himself as he crawls under the engine. He reaches the loose part. Empties start to bypass the fishing line. Elton attaches the loose part. The engine starts up. He gets stuck and screams for help. Felix, Hope, and Iris slay empties down the road. Elton panics. Finally, Hope and Iris pull him out from under the boat. The group launches the boat into the river, escaping just as the empties arrive. The group rests after reaching the other shore. Hope and Felix reconcile. Huck privately tells Felix that the group should split up. Huck announces that she is leaving the group to scout out the new territory, but promises to return within 48 hours. Elton cries as he remembers his final moments with his father and mother. In a flashback, young Elton leaves Mr. Ortiz's office and finds Mr. Ortiz dead in the hallway. Young Elton exits the museum and finds a flyer showing an evacuation route to the campus colony. He starts walking. In the present day, Hope checks on Elton, who wonders aloud if his mother is still alive. Hope sees a photo of Amelia in Elton's journal and realizes she killed Elton's mother on the night of the fall. An empty approaches. Iris walks into the darkness to kill it, but finds that it actually is a person, who approaches the group brandishing a large stick.